Hello and welcome to lesson 18, Perfectly Spoken. This is the A2 level. My name is Natalie and today's class we are talking about cinema and TV or television. Okay, so let's have a look at what we are going to do in the lesson today. Okay. So we're going to talk about film genres, different types of films that you can see at the cinema or on television. We are going to talk about phrasal verbs used with TV. We're going to talk about different types of TV programs. And finally, we will end the class with a listening. Okay, so do you have your notebook and your pen? And let's begin. Okay, one moment. Here we go. Okay, so first of all, as you can see from this picture here, we are going to start by talking about films and different types of films. Notice, first of all, we have two main ways of talking about films. We've got films or movies, and they're the same. They're the same. Okay, in British English, we usually say films, and American English, we usually say movies. Or if you're over the age of 70, there is another way of talking about it. I'm going to show you now. Look. So we've got movie, film, or if you're over 70, maybe you say the pictures. For example, my mum says, "Oh, Natalie, are you going to the pictures?" Because when she was a child, the films were called the pictures. Okay, that's just extra information. All right, okay, so let's have a look at some different types of films now. Okay, before we start, just let's have a look. Camera, lights and action. Here you can see some typical things you see when a movie is being made. Okay, what's this? Do you know? Yes, this is the director's chair. This is where the director sits, a very important person for making a film. And you've got the actors. Can you hear my friend's cat? Shush! Elliot! Sorry, but, well, if you have cats, that's what happens. Elliot! Elliot! Okay, sorry, we'll continue. Okay, so you have a director, you have actors. Interesting thing about the word actor, the person who is in a film or a play or a television series. There are two words that exist. There's actor for male and actress for female. But in fact, the word actor is often used for both females and males. A lot of professional actresses or actors don't like the term actress. So you will see the word actor used for both men and for women. Okay, let's go back. All right, so now we're going on to types of films here. So you can see this person in the photograph. She is watching a horror film. I don't like horror films personally. I don't understand that you want to sit for 1 hour or 2 hours watching something that makes you, oh, I don't understand. But if you like horror films, fantastic. I know they're very, very popular. Okay, let's have a look at some other types of films. Okay, So we've got horror film, romantic comedy. Oh, I like romantic comedies. So romantic comedy is usually man, woman, they don't like each other, ha 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 ha, lots of funny things, and then in the end, oh, they fall in love. So yes, that's a romantic comedy. And then you have historical drama. That's usually some type of film set in, notice the vocabulary, set in the past, okay, in some kind of dramatic event. Okay, you have drama. That's usually set in the present day. Musicals. Musicals where they sing. Yeah, my feeling about musicals, I don't really like musicals, although there are two exceptions. There are two musicals I love, the rest, no, stop singing. Okay, and action films, very good, where you have lots of fighting and cars chasing each other and crashes and explosions. So yes, I quite like a good action film. And comedy, science fiction. So for example, Star Wars is a very, 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 very famous science fiction film or movie. Have you seen Star Wars? Okay, then you've got thrillers. That type of film, you know, where you have suspense, usually a very difficult situation. Okay, and you've got animated films. These can be like cartoons or computer animation. For example, Toy Story, or for example, Up, which was another very famous animation movie. Monsters, Inc., another famous movie. These are usually for children, but I like them too. I think they're very good. Shrek. I really, really, really like Shrek. It's very funny. So it's an animated kids film, but it's actually funny too, even for adults, I think. Okay. And we've got, okay, so now we're going to do a little look at conversation between two friends and just have a look at the conversation and try and understand the conversation. And we will focus on the language after we've looked at the conversation. Okay, so you have two friends here sitting and they are having coffee and I don't know, cake, and they're talking. So let's go back to see what they are talking about. Okay, so he says, you want to go to the cinema tonight? And the other man is thinking, he doesn't say it, he's thinking, oh no, he's going to suggest seeing that new horror film. I hate horror films. And that's what he's thinking. But he says, okay, what do you want to see? I don't want to see that new horror film. I don't like horror films. I don't know. What's on? What about the new action film? The one about the casino? That sounds great. And at the end, they both think, phew. Phew is not a word. It's a sound. It's this phew. When you're relieved, when you feel relieved about something. Phew. So they're very relieved. Okay, let's have some quick questions to go. Oh, I don't believe it. Hang on. One moment, please. Hello? 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 Yes, I'm sorry, Mark and Carlos are not here at the moment. Okay, thank you. Bye. Ah, thank you very much. Happy New Year. Okay, sorry. Okay, so that was a quick conversation with a French woman on the phone. I do apologise. Okay, so let's go back to the conversation we saw on the screen here. Okay, and here I'm highlighting here some language. Okay, so you have language. You've got, do you want to go to the cinema tonight, and what do you want to see? So do you remember when we did the lesson related to the future? We often use this question to ask about what somebody wants to do in the future. So, do you want to go to the cinema? Do you want to go to a French restaurant? What do you want to see? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to go with? What time do you want to meet? Do you remember that language? So here in this conversation, we have two examples of that language. And then here we have, wait one moment, I'm just going to move this. Okay, so we have, okay, so here we have, yes, do you remember we have what about the new action film? And here we have, you say the one about. Now the one here is not talking about one, the number, it's talking about the film. Okay, so the one about the casino, or the one about the crime, or the one about the spies. So it's a very common expression we use when we're talking about films or television programs. Okay, let's have a look at some more language. So the one about, and do you remember this one? Can you see above in the green? Oh no, he's going to suggest. He's going to suggest. So you've got future going to for a prediction. Okay, and here we have the conversation. Can you remember what the next part of the conversation was? Have a think. Yes, do you remember? That's what he's thinking. And what's next? Yes, I don't want to see the new horror film. And what does he say at the end of the conversation? That sounds great. That's the same, saying that sounds fantastic. That's a good idea. And then they're both, phew. Okay, now here on the screen, you can see here, we've got some different films, okay? Now, do you recognize any of these films? Okay, I am going to describe one of these, and I just want you to decide which film I'm talking about, okay? So, are you ready? Yes? Okay, so let's begin. Right, this film, I saw this film a long time ago, so it's not a recent film. It's a thriller, and it's set in New York in the United States, and it's really not very nice. The plot is very, very good. It's a very good plot, but it's not a little bit violent. Okay. And the main actor is Brad Pitt. So do you know which film this is? Yes, it's Seven. Yes, it was a good film, but I personally hated it because it was like a psychological thriller and it was quite violent, so I didn't like it. But I recognise it was a good film. Okay, now this is another film. It's probably the most famous musical in the world, probably. It's quite old. It's an old film. Again, it was made in the United States. Do you know which one? It's Singing in the Rain. I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. That one. Do you know that film? If you don't, watch it. It's amazing. The dancing is amazing. Okay, and one more. Okay, this film is it's an animated film. It's for children or kids, and it was quite famous because it was one of the first long animated films, the computer animated films. So do you know which one? Yeah, it was Toy Story. Toy Story. Okay, should we do one more? Just one more, okay? Right, this one is, I would say this is a horror film. Well, yeah, it's quite scary. And there's an old version and a new version. I saw the old version many, many years ago. And the actress in the old version was Drew Barrymore as a child. So do you know? The new version, I don't know. I haven't seen the new version. Yeah, it's Poltergeist. Poltergeist. Okay. Now let's have a look at, now we're going to move on to talking about TV. Okay. In fact, a lot of people watch films, movies on the TV, especially now with internet and digital television. It's much easier. Okay, so we're going to talk about TV and types of programs you can see on the TV. Now, notice we use the same expression as we do for the cinema. We say, what's on? What's on TV? What's on TV? Okay. And just one thing, this is a very important part of watching TV. Okay, can you see here the arrow pointing? In my house, we always have a problem with this. We're always going, where is it? Where is it? Yes, the remote control, okay? Because now you need a remote control to watch the telly, to change channel, to turn the volume up, to turn it on, to turn it off. You need the remote control for everything. Okay, so here you can see the woman with her remote control. You also need a remote control to control the DVD player if you have a DVD player. So you have a remote control for the telly, remote control for the DVD player, and a remote control for the live box if you have a live box. So yes, too many remote controls in my opinion. Okay, and this is an example of somebody choosing what to watch from a menu. We call this a menu. just like a menu in a restaurant. So they're looking at the menu to try and choose what to watch. Okay, so first of all, we're going to talk about TV series. I like this picture because when I was a child, the televisions looked like this. And you can see it's got like some buttons. And it's interesting because if you think of the phrasal verb, I'm going to put them here. You've got the channels. And to change channel, you had to, we called it turn over. Because in fact, originally, with the first televisions and the first radios, to turn them on and to change channel, you had to turn. Turn is actually do this. So the phrasal verb comes from that. That will help you remember. So you've got turn over, turn over, turn on, turn off, turn up. Do you remember? Turn up the volume, turn down the volume. Okay, so these are phrasal verbs we still use today, even though we use a remote control. It comes from here. So let's go back now and talk about the TV series. Okay, so we've got, now with a book, as you've got here, a book is usually divided into chapters. In a TV series, no. In a TV series, we call them episodes. A lot of my students use the word chapter for TV series, and it's not, no, it's episodes. Okay. And normally with TV series, you have seasons. So for example, one season might be 6 episodes or 7 episodes or 8 episodes. And then when the season finishes, then you have to wait for the next season. Okay, sometimes it's difficult to wait. Okay. All right, and now let's go back. Okay, another type of TV program. These are very, very, very popular. They are TV programs. They're called reality shows or reality TV. And this is when you use basically real people. So it could be real people learning to dance. It could be real people learning to build a house, anything. The point is you don't use actors. You're not using actors. You're putting real people into a situation. In the UK, there's a lot of reality television. Yeah, sometimes they're very, very good, and sometimes they're very, very boring. It depends. Okay, another type here is cookery programs. From the 1990s in the UK, cookery programs became very, very popular. So there were lots of cookery programs. And in fact, some chefs, TV chefs, have become very famous from these cookery programs. And we have the typical show, you know, where you have to press a button, like this button here in the picture. And usually you win or a prize or you win some money. And you can see here in this picture above me here, you've got 4 contestants and they are trying to win $1 million. Okay. And between the TV programs, most channels, you have ads. Ads is short for advertisements. Okay. So you often have ads. And this is related to the next type of TV program we have, which is called a soap opera. Now, a soap opera is different to a TV series, because a soap opera, it's fiction, like a series. It's fiction, it uses actors, usually in an everyday context or situation. The thing is, it never ends, just goes on and on and on and on and on. Okay, so it's like following people in their everyday lives. Okay, but these are actors, they're fictional circumstances. And the word soap opera came from, because when the original ads, I'll just go back, to this slide. The original ads, they noticed when they were doing ads involving real people in real situations. I mean, obviously they're actors, but they noticed that they were very popular. People liked watching real situations. So it was out of the ads, particularly their ads advertising soap powder. That's where the word soap comes from, okay? So that's how it started. And we have some soap operas in the UK that they are like over 40 years. They've been running for 40 years. It's a long, long time. Do you have soap operas in your country? Think about it. Okay. And look, these are the types of things you think when you're watching a soap opera. Is he going to propose to her? Is she going to discover the truth? Why is Ben hiding the letter? Okay, so you kind of follow every day, watch every day. I must see the episode tomorrow. Yes. So, okay. Let's move on. Right. And then, yes, of course, we have the non-fiction types of programs, the news. The news, yeah, so you watch the news to find out about current events, current affairs, world events, local events. Okay, and also the weather. They always put the weather on after the news. Okay, and then you have programs that are usually about real situations, but the purpose, the objective, is not to entertain, but to inform. Okay, so we call these documentaries. Okay, they're factual. So here, for example, in this picture, this could be a documentary about healthcare or a documentary about hospitals. And then, of course, we have sports programs, football, swimming, tennis, cricket. What sports programs do you have in your country? Okay, right. So, one moment. Now we're going to do the listening. So for this section, as always, just listen and relax and just try and understand as much as possible. After the listening, I will put the text on the screen so that you can see it. Okay? All right. Stay there. Okay. Are you ready? I don't usually watch TV, but at the moment I'm staying at a friend's and she has Netflix. So 2 nights ago, I started watching a series called Stranger Things. I didn't know what it was about. It was a bit scary. I liked it. In fact, I watched all 8 episodes of season 1 in 2 evenings. Other series I like are Friends, and I love watching detective series. I really like anything like Agatha Christie, Poirot, Miss Marple. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put some questions on. Have a look at the questions. Think about the answers. Okay, if you don't know the answers, you can pause the video, go back and listen again. Go back and listen again to see if you can answer the questions. If not, if you feel you know the answer to the questions, just continue watching. I will put now the answers on the screen. Okay. Here we go. So here we go. I don't usually watch TV. Right, so here, does Natalie watch TV very often? No, she doesn't. At the moment, I am staying at a friend's and she has Netflix. So 2 nights ago, I started watching a series called Stranger Things. So here we have the answer to number 2, Stranger Things. I didn't know what it was about. It was a bit scary. I liked it. In fact, I watched all 8 episodes of season 1 in 2 evenings. So yes, she did. Okay, and other series I like are Friends, and I love watching detective series. I really like anything like Agatha Christie, Poirot. Okay. So what other things does she like to watch? So we've got Friends and detective series. Okay, now quick look at some of the language. Here, remember, you've got the adverb of frequency. Here we've got present continuous, something in progress now. Here you've got past simple, because we're talking about an action in the past. Do you remember from this lesson it was about? And we use this a lot. I liked it, I didn't like it, I loved it, I hated it. Talking about a film. And I watched all episodes of season 1. So you've got the vocabulary from the lesson here. And I'm just going to disappear. You've got I love watching. Do you remember you have the, sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so here you have the verb love with ing. Okay, and I think, okay, yes, one thing. Like, remember in the lesson we talked about weather? Here, like is not like as in how you feel about something. It has a different function. It could be, for example, in this case, for example. Okay, so remember, like has different meanings. All right, so that is the end of the lesson. Well done. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful and have lots of information in your notebook. Okay, just to remind you what we have covered in this class. So, right, film genres, phrasal verbs used with TV, turn on, turn off, turn over, turn up, turn down, TV programs, and finally a listening. So yes, well done. You worked very, very hard. Thank you. I apologise. I am sorry for this phone because I'm not in my house. I don't know how to turn off the phone. So I apologise for the phone. And the cat, well, I think the cat is sleeping, so that's okay. Anyway, thank you for joining me for this lesson. I will see you in lesson 19. Okay, take care. Bye.